Let's jump right into this explainer, because what we saw at UFC 330 was honestly nothing short of cinematic. We're looking at a clash that was about way more than just a championship belt. This was about a physical archetype designed specifically to dethrone a king. Islam Makhachev didn't just walk into the octagon to fight a man, he walked into a perfectly engineered stylistic nightmare. Today, we're going to break down the tactical warfare, the brilliant adjustments, and the sheer grit that defined one of the most anticipated title fights of the entire year.
Put yourself right there in the tense, electrifying atmosphere of Philadelphia's Xfinity Mobile Arena. The welterweight champion, Islam Makhachev, stepping under the lights to face Ian Garry. Now, Garry is a towering, technically gifted, undefeated challenger, moving with this incredible fluidity and, man, supreme confidence. He represented a very unique problem, a puzzle Makhachev literally hadn't faced during his entire historic dominant run.
The whole MMA world was holding its breath for one specific reason, and that was the stylistic clash. On one hand, you've got Makhachev. His legacy is built on lightweight dominance and this terrifying, inescapable grappling control. But on the other hand, you have Garry bringing natural welterweight size, towering length, and truly elite distance management. So the central question of this matchup was simple but absolutely profound. Could Makhachev, giving up so much size and reach, force a naturally larger, rangier kickboxer into his world?
Section 1. Garry's distance management. Right out of the gate, the challenger actually dictated the terms of engagement. Using his massive height and reach advantage, Garry created space with these long teeps and oblique kicks to totally disrupt Makhachev's entries. And the data completely backs this up. Garry decisively won the kickboxing battle at range, landing 147 distance strikes to Makhachev's 72. He actually outlanded the champion in both total and significant strikes over the 25 minutes, leaning really heavily on clean work to the head and body. Garry made the champion look visibly uncomfortable, proving he could disrupt the game plan and keep the fight exactly where he wanted it, right at the end of his punches.
Section 2. The Tactical Chess Match. As this fight moved into the middle rounds, it evolved into this absolutely grueling battle for physical positioning, and the tension in the arena just skyrocketed. Makhachev realized pretty quickly he couldn't just walk straight into range against a giant like Garry. He had to turn striking situations into grappling opportunities. As analysts noted at the time, that is what separates an elite wrestler from a fighter who simply has good wrestling. Makhachev didn't just rely on a single attempt to succeed. Instead, he chained his threats together. He made Garry defend one threat, react to another, and slowly but surely capitalize on the tiny little openings created by those reactions. Garry had to maintain literally perfect defensive positioning for 25 minutes, and let me tell you, that is an incredibly exhausting task.
Section 3. The champion adapts.
Then, in round 2, the narrative violently shifted. Makhachev brilliantly adjusted his timing, catching Garry with a massive right hand and a lightning-fast left high kick that actually dropped the iron-chinned Irishman. That adjustment? It opened the floodgates on the mat. Just look at this number, 72. That is the total number of ground strikes Makhachev landed over the course of the fight, compared to a mere 14 for Garry. Once the champion found his rhythm and dragged the momentum down to the mat, he was just ruthless, methodically breaking down Garry's defenses and eventually securing 6 total takedowns.
To really grasp the suffocating nature of this performance, we have to look at another staggering figure, 413. Makhachev accumulated 413 seconds of grueling ground clinch control. Think about that for a second. That's nearly 7 full minutes of carrying the dead weight of an elite grappler while trying to breathe, defend, and somehow escape. It literally turned Garry's early defensive brilliance into pure, heavy fatigue in those championship rounds. The explosive athleticism we saw early on, it faded, and this just became a pure test of will.
Which brings us to the final act of this amazing story, and a fascinating tactical dilemma. Going into the 5th round, Garry faced an impossible choice. Push forward aggressively to try for a finish and risk falling into a submission trap, or remain disciplined, stay safe, and likely lose a decision. Now, some critics wanted to see more urgency from Garry, but you gotta remember, against the division's most dangerous grappler, a single reckless moment means you're getting choked out. Garry chose cautious discipline. It didn't win in the fight, but it absolutely proved his high fight IQ and his profound respect for the champion's lethal submission game.
Section 4. Making UFC history.
When that final horn sounded, the judges delivered a unanimous verdict for Makhachev, scoring at 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47. Garry absolutely made him work for it for sure, proving he completely belonged in the cage with greatness, but Makhachev's grappling adaptation and composure under fire, just undeniable. And the historical magnitude of having that hand raised is represented by this number, 17. With this victory, Makhachev secured his 17th consecutive win inside the octagon, shattering Anderson Silva's legendary record. So this wasn't just another win, it was a massive milestone that cements Makhachev in incredibly rare historical company.
The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is crystal clear. Makhachev proved that his suffocating style translates perfectly to a heavier weight class, even against a significantly larger elite striker, but he definitely paid the price for it. He left Philadelphia with a 30-day medical suspension due to bruised ribs, courtesy of Gary's vicious body kicks and clinch elbows. It wasn't flawless, it was an absolute war. But at the end of the day, he solved the puzzle that no one else could.
So, what happens next? Makhachev has actually expressed a desire to return in late 2026 to defend his throne once again. But man, the welterweight division is just filled with entirely different, terrifying threats right now. You've got Carlos Prates with his elite knockout power, Michael Morales bringing that explosive athleticism, and of course, the undefeated finisher, Shavkat Rakhmonov. After witnessing him totally dismantle the ultimate stylistic threat in Ian Garry, I want to leave you with this final, thrilling question. Which of these young, dangerous contenders can possibly solve the puzzle that Garry could not? Or, honestly, is anyone even capable of making Islam Makhachev stop?